It doesn't matter. Look, we're fucking it up. It doesn't matter. Okay, now we can start. Go.
Wow, you really proved the point. All right. Well, I'm Ryan. I'm here with Johnny. We're gonna do our Pod Blast, which is our lunch podcast.
Yeah. Mitchell's not here because he's doing important stuff like being productive at our company.
Actually, there's a party to which half of the company was invited and another half was not invited. So rather than engender resentment, or perhaps in addition to engendering resentment, we've decided to record while we ate our own lunch that we purchased at Molly Stone's, which is a local grocery store that also has a delicatessen, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure people will enjoy hearing that. But we're not going to be bitter. We're going to move on. There are lots of things to talk about, and we're going to just make it happen because we've tried for a couple of days now to get this thing on the road.
Yeah.
But now we're just going to use the laptop.
We're tired of waiting for success, and we're just going to take this fucking bull by the horns. So I guess what I'd first like to discuss, which is what we were going to discuss the other day ago, thanks for the chip, is Johnny bought chips, and I didn't buy any, so I'm eating his.
Is it your Vegas trip?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Wow.
My Las Vegas trip. I went to Las Vegas.
You don't have to face it.
For my buddy, sorry, dude. For my buddy's bachelor party. Now, he's Chinese, and I'm a white dude, and there were about 10 Asian dudes and one white dude, and we went there. And these guys are pretty conservative dudes. So, to them, you go to Vegas and that's your time to lose your inhibition. That's your time to get drunk and get crazy and go to titty bars and stuff.
And you did all of that, right?
No, because my life already doesn't have inhibition. So I don't need to go to another city or another state to get drunk. I can do it right here and party right here.
But prostitutes.
Well, actually, I didn't buy any prostitutes, and I think this goddamn delicatessen lady put mayonnaise on my sandwich, and I hate mayonnaise. I'm from Texas. We live in San Francisco, but I'm from Texas, and I associate mayonnaise with trailer parks and shit.
He asked for girl-a's.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it.
What is girl-a's?
I don't know. It's just you being a pussy.
Oh. Well, you made a pun. Okay. I got it. Sorry about that. Anyhow, so I'm in Las Vegas, and there's hookers everywhere, and you can tell hookers easiest by smoking hot chicks with a lot of makeup, and they all wear these really tight dresses that show off their fake boobs and almost show off their beavers, almost, and they're with old dudes, right? So smoking hot 24-year-olds with ugly, bald 55-year-olds.
And their beavers / maybe wiener hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
You do have to check under the hood nowadays with chicks. You absolutely do. Before you strike a grand bargain, you have to check under the hood.
Oh, I've read around that people actually don't check. They just go at it, and they're just pleasantly surprised, and then they just keep going.
Well,
that's weird.
Don't think there's a distinct difference between the receptacle for the man's dong if it's a dude or if it's a chick, right?
Well, we've been over this. There are some differences.
Namely what?
No.
Break it down, dude. What's the main difference?
No, we're not.
All right. Well, John says the main difference between a gay couple and a straight couple is that a man's butthole doesn't generate moisture, and a woman's beaver does. That's true. Everyone can universally agree on that.
There's no spontaneous out in public butt sex going on. You have to plan for that shit. You need fucking tools and stuff to make it happen.
That's true. Lube.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had gay sex with it. I've never had gay sex my whole life. Not once.
Nope, me neither. Never plan to.
Well, never say never. Never say never. But I don't think that I'm going to. I'm just not interested in dudes. I'm not interested in gents. I like Phillies, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So your Vegas trip.
Yeah.
You don't like clubs.
Nope.
So what did you get out of it?
I bet on sports. I don't like clubs for the same reason you don't. Clubs are these places where you go, and the music is so goddamn loud, and it's horrible music. And there you are with a bunch of your friends, but you can't talk to each other because it's so loud. And if you want a drink, it's $13. And if you want to go buy a drink, some goddamn woman with fake titties and a Louis Vuitton satchel is going to come up next to you and ask you to buy her a drink, as if it is implied because she is a woman and you are a man, and she wants something, you have to give it to her. It's insane. I'm sure you've seen this when I'm describing.
Yeah, the psychology with clubs and sometimes bars tends to be counterproductive to the
men
movement forward in human civilization. It's so fucking old school. It's it's fucking expected now. Buy the lady a drink. Buy the lady a drink.
Yeah.
I'll buy my lady a drink.
I'll buy a lady a drink, but in exchange, she has to at least have sex with me, right? At the very least, maybe a hand job.
Well,
Maybe a hand job.
A lot of betting goes on in Vegas, and that's a bet you take.
It's a bet I take and I win. But so
force.
I'm by force sometimes if necessary, like Ben Roethlisberger. I like bars. I'm down with bars, but I'm not down with clubs. Mostly because it's so loud and it's so gaudy. So honestly, I mean, to me, Vegas is just the reason people go there is it's a good gathering spot, for dudes to go and look at hot chicks and bet, and that's what's fun. Like everyone likes betting. In some way or another, everyone likes it. Maybe they can't handle the risk, but everyone kind of enjoys the rush that they get from a good win. And everyone likes looking at attractive people, especially chicks. Now, I want to tell all these women, you're pretty. You don't need to fill up your chest with silicone fake hooters, right? You're still pretty. I want to tell them all that. But they're not interested in hearing that, I don't think. I don't know.
Fake boobs are like a turn on and a turn off.
Right.
It's like, oh, damn, that looks good, but I know it's not real.
Yeah.
And then there's psychological effects of that person decided to drop a bunch of dough on having fake boobs.
So the question is, do you think chicks with fake boobs have a character flaw or some kind of something wrong with them, or is it just as simple as they had no titties and now they want some titties?
Saying it's a flaw is like an assumption, I guess.
Right, it is.
I don't know. It speaks a lot. Of course, you need to know the person to see what the deal is. I don't know.
I agree with that.
Maybe they had big honkers and they had back problems, and then just got smaller ones with an enhancement.
Well, I'm not talking about breast reductions. I'm talking about there's two different things. There's chicks that have boobs but want them way bigger, so more guys will look at them, and there's chicks with no boobs that want some boobs. And I can understand that. I can understand that because our society and our culture puts hot chicks on magazines at every check stand and on every commercial and on every poster. A chick that's 5'7" with double D's, a six-pack almost, athletic, runs around, has no body fat, also cooks and cleans and has kids. Like I understand those pressures that women are having. I'm just amazed that they succumb to them so often. If you don't have big boobs, big deal. If you don't have a Louis Vuitton satchel, big fucking deal. Guess what you have that I want? A fucking vagina, right? You still have that beaver.
Yeah, guys aren't as picky as girls think we are, right? I guess.
It's amazing.
Oh, well. Yeah, so what did you bet on sports-wise? Did you win?
I bet on Oregon State. You know what their logo is?
An O?
No, the Beavers. The Beavers, that's the Ducks.
Shit. I'm wrong.
And they won. And I bet I bet against the Texas Rangers, who are my favorite team. I made an offering to the baseball gods. Like I said, here, I'm going to bet against Texas, but please make Texas win. I'm glad to lose this money, right? Understand? They spit in my face, laughed at me, and gave me back more money. And Texas kept losing. So I kept betting real money, hoping that I could reverse jinx them. And then I realized my powers, I can't do it. I kept winning money, and I was trying to give it away to the baseball gods. It was the ultimate insult. They spit at me, and they laughed at me.
Did your buddies bet on sports too?
No, they're Asian dudes. They're a lot more conservative with dough. I don't think they can handle the stress of losing $200 on a game or something.
Well, what the hell were they up to?
They went to a titty bar. I just bet and hung out with one other buddy that didn't want to go to the titty bar. I've been to enough titty bars. In college in San Antonio, I used to always go to titty bars with my buddies, and we'd talk to the titty chicks and just hang out with them, and then maybe hang out with them later.
Yeah, can't say I've ever been. I actually got invited to one in the deep south of Alabama, and I hear it was quite a trip. And I wish I would have went just for life experience, but I may have left with some kind of disease.
You've never been to a titty bar?
No.
In your whole hillbilly life?
Well, I think it's illegal in Alabama now. They outlawed gambling as well as titty bars. So
everything's illegal.
It's anti-Vegas is what it is.
Everything's legal in that state except for having sex with relatives. That doesn't make sense. The worst thing you can do is have sex with your own sister. And there, it's not only allowed, you get tax credits for it, right?
Well, sometimes you slip and fall and things happen.
Really? That's what happened? I just don't think a state needs to encourage incest by rewarding people with extra deductions on their IRS forms. And that's what Alabama does. And I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me why you would encourage people to do that. It just seems like a good way to hold the state back. Johnny is from Alabama. Ryan grew up in Texas, but I've lived in the Bay Area for about 12 years. How long you lived out here, Johnny?
4 years or something. Lost the accent and all that stuff. I'm changing. I like wine and I ride my bicycle. I don't drive a car.
Yeah, and you're much more politically correct when you talk to minorities.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that. Sometimes.
Because is it true that in Alabama on weekends, a lot of times white people will get together and go out and just taunt minorities, namely black people, or is that not true?
I don't know. The towns are segregated. You just don't hang out with those. There was it was pretty much a high school for every race.
Is that true?
It's true.
Asians or just blacks and whites and Mexicans?
Oh, very few Asians there. But yeah, I went to an all-white high school. Yeah, not proud of that.
Didn't you have one black guy and everyone called him Poindexter? Is that true?
I don't know what they called him, but maybe it's not safe for saying on the air.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah, I was about a junior in high school, I think, and we had our first black dude come to our high school. We made the papers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did it say first colored fella ever at John's high school, or what? What did it say?
I don't know. I think there was a lot of dispute and people bitching about nothing, and it kind of made it the papers.
Well,
it's not like I have anything else to talk about.
I've
actually gone online and looked at the criminal reports for the week from the local newspaper, and it's all stuff like, got a call and someone got their hand stuck in a fucking jar or something.
Are you talking about the Burlingame police blotter?
No, I'm talking about it in my hometown.
What is your hometown?
Gadsden, Alabama.
Gadsden?
Gadsden. G-A-D.
How did you get that name?
I don't know. Just made it up, I guess. Kind of like my last name, I imagine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you watch the debates last night?
Yeah.
What did you think of those? Man, that cough has been 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, when we have that on record.
I know,
yeah.
over and over, dude.
It's been about 2 weeks, I think.
All right.
Yeah, I watched the debate.
What did you think about the debate?
I was so excited to watch it because it's an avenue where they get to talk. That you don't get to see them, like they're standing right next to each other. That's cool. But the thing was, it's almost like it's a bit scripted, or even when they address one another, they almost like spun off into a tangent that was really like off point and just, I don't know. It's almost like a really bad relationship gone wrong where each side is yelling at each other as loud as they can, talking about completely different things.
I felt like the expectations for Mitt Romney were so low that all he had to do was speak confidently and clearly, and he would be declared the winner. And I feel like that's what happened. Like,
Wait, so the winner thing is not just a news-created thing. That's actually someone's declared the winner?
No, it is a news. I mean, they do polls. Like, polls have said like 70-30. Everyone thinks Romney won. Now, keep in mind a few things. There's no audience. So if Romney had told a lie or if Obama had told a lie, the audience would boo, right? I mean, everyone knows that Romney has a tax plan that is going to cut taxes on the rich. Everyone knows this, but Romney said he doesn't. Now, it's not true. It's demonstrably not true. Like, they've shown a tax plan where they're going to cut benefits for the elderly. Like, rich people's benefits are not going to be cut. Older people are going to have to pay an extra $7,000 a year. Like, if something big happens and they're going to have to go to the hospital, and he's denying it. Like, they asked him, when do you put your money overseas and so you can get tax breaks? And he's like, no, I don't do that. I would if I could, but I can't. Yes, you do. Yes, he does. So he kept saying these things that were demonstrably false, but there was nobody there to call him on it. It was like Obama was sitting there, like someone said, okay, Obama, we got your wife and kids, we're holding your wife and kid hostages. You better go in there and lose this debate and get just ass blasted by Romney and not say shit. And no matter what Romney says, you can't say shit back. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's why I didn't enjoy watching the debates, because it was like both of them are claiming facts that are completely different from one another. So
right.
Who's right?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, as a logical thinking human being, sure, I side more with Obama, sure, right? But even his stats and Romney's stats that they're just throwing out there, I don't know who to trust. So it's hard to root for a team when it's all based on facts that can't really be checked.
Well,
and it's really hard to watch.
One of the points I would say to that is point number A. Look at what's happened in the country in at least the last decade. I mean, starting in 2000, we got involved in several wars. Our gasoline prices have gone up. Our food prices have gone up. Wages have stagnated for the middle class. The upper class has gotten richer and richer. The stock market has doubled and tripled and quadrupled. Like, There's pretty significant data showing that the middle class is getting beaten down and the lower class is not doing as well. That's just seconds, dude. I believe. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to get a minute counter. It was on
Johnny's messing with the
measures of
computer.
music.
Johnny's messing with the computer.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
In any event, I mean, what Romney is saying, like, it's important for people to actually watch and listen and see what they're seeing instead of letting someone tell them what they just saw. And I think the problem with America is they watch this debate and they are like, wait a second, I didn't know Mitt Romney could speak so well and so clearly and so concisely without pausing between sentences. He must know what he's doing. I think that's what just happened. And they're ignoring the fact that basically Mitt Romney's rich because he would go into companies, he would saddle them with debt, get bailed out by the government, lay off the employees, take their pensions, and spread it out amongst the shareholders. Now, he's an incredible corporate raider. There's no doubt about it. I have no doubt he's a bright man, but he is not a job creator. And so when he argues things like he knows how to create jobs, it's just not true. And I'm sure on many levels he understands how the economy works much, much better than Obama, but he's still, all Mitt Romney is the rich son of a dad who worked his tail off. Like his dad was a senator, a presidential candidate, and the CEO of like GM or Ford Motors. Did you know that? His dad.
No, I didn't know that.
So I guess my question is, do you think that Romney understands like how lucky he was to be born to a rich, successful dad as opposed to a poor guy in like Shreveport, Louisiana? Do you think that even occurs to him?
No, I mean, I don't know what it's like either. And so he doesn't either. Because, I don't know, fuck. Life is hard. Life's hard.
Life is hard.
Yes.
But the question I just offered you just blew your mind.
I did.
It made you hurt and get... Johnny threw up his arms and he was like, I don't know what the fuck. Almost like he was mad, but I'm not entirely sure what he's mad about.
I don't know. Politics infuriates me, but not like a lot of people get infuriated. You know, it's like people are infuriated because they want to root for their team.
Yep.
And for me, I don't... Sure, I pick my team, but my frustration doesn't come from, you know, the other guy's an asshole. It comes from, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, all of this bickering and shit.
You truly are a swing voter. You're one of the very few people in this country who has an open mind without codified, set in stone, unmalleable views. I think. Like I think you could be swayed depending by facts, right? A lot of people can't.
Sure. Yeah. I can't watch the news anymore. It's unbearable.
It is unbearable. It's awful. Like half of it's just a human interest story, someone missing or car chases. Like honestly, that's not the news story. The news stories are like, we've got all these soldiers coming back from wars. You need to give them jobs. You need to give them medical support. You need to give them benefits. We've got all this stuff going on in this country, and we're not talking about the real things. Instead, we're going to Las Vegas and purchasing whores. And no, I did not purchase a whore.
Here's my weird attempt at a segue. Speaking of news, the news yesterday was that Resident Evil 6 sucks. And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for about a year for this Resident Evil. I have a PlayStation 3. I'm a video game fan. I wouldn't say a huge gamer. I used to be. Now, and I've owned every system you can name. Neo Geo, PS1, 3DO, TurboGrafx 16, Turbo Express, Sega Master System.
And we work at a video game company.
Yeah, we work at a video game company. And so I've been waiting. You know, I bought Resident Evil 1. It was in 95. It was fall of 95 or spring of 95. And this was in my college dorm. And guys would come over and watch it. And we'd all get spooked. And, you know, every couple of years, a new one would come out. And I waited for this one for a long time. And apparently the reviews say it sucks donkey dick. No, I don't want to say that. Right? It got a 7.9 on IGN. And it seems like Metacritic. Does Rotten Tomatoes review video games?
I'm not sure, but I don't know. Like, anything below an 8 in games journalism is garbage. There's too many games out there.
Don't use the word garbage.
Well, what do I use in the lack of a better term?
Average. Garbage.
A very hot but overly used prostitute. Still, it's good, but not very good.
Okay. All right. But hot, so it's a little tore up.
Yeah.
So like a 40-year-old ex-stripper. She was probably super hot 10 years ago, but now it's like, how much cocaine and how many dicks can you take? You know, how many times did you have double penetration scenes before you got to this point in your life? Right? Dude, that tears your body up.
Yeah.
Dude,
Gravity tears it up too.
just imagine, right? Gravity tears it up, which again can be circumvented with fake hooters and surgery. But like honestly, but like women, I think are made. You know, if you want to go back to what we evolved in, you know, dudes were hunters and gatherers and could spread their seed, and chicks were supposed to have babies. Now, there's one way to have babies, which is to have sex with a dude and he jizzes in your beaver, and then boom, you get knocked up, you get preggers. It doesn't matter the volume of the jizz. It could just be one little jizz swims up you or not.
Dude, I'm going to play this for my firstborn child. I'll be like,
This is how it goes down.
Now's the time for you to hear about the birds and the bees. Here's my buddy Ryan in the recording that we made back in 2012.
You jizz in a girl. Now, also, there's benefits. When you jizz in a girl, it gives her better hair and smoother skin and better nails. And this is what I've been telling chicks my whole life. And it works, as I was telling you earlier, it works. But what about like the double penetration scenes don't just use the vagina; they also use the butthole, right?
Not necessarily.
What do you mean? No, that's double penetration. You're talking about a girl giving a dude head while she's having sex. That's just a three-way. Double penetration, you're instantly locking up, occupying both holes, the vagina and the butthole, and that's going to take a toll on a person. It has to. Dude, imagine like two big-ass dudes just boom, boom, pounding away like at a body. It's going to hurt. It has to have some long-term effects, right? It has to.
Oh,
Come on.
I overlook those videos on the various porn sites out there.
You overlook the DP section?
Yeah.
You just go straight for...
Fucking brutal.
You just go straight for Latinas and black chicks.
Missionary style, always, only. Nothing else.
You're a Mormon. Where do you? What tab do you click? Be honest.
I jump around.
What's the first tab you click? Don't say Asian.
New?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, not MILF.
No.
I know some people who do MILF. I know a lot of guys who do like gigantic chicks, like 300-pound chicks.
Dude. If you ask me what I do click on, we'd be here all day. But
holy shit! You even have time for a job.
I think a better question to ask is what don't I click on, and some of those might be pretty obvious, like
Black.
Some big chicks, I don't know.
Hispanic.
No.
Grandmas, like mature.
Grandmas.
Mature.
No.
Dude, there's some hot-ass grandmas in Burlingame, like 50 to 55-year-old chicks. There's some really hot chicks who take care of themselves. I told you about the lady last week that I met, right?
Yeah.
She was pretty hot. She had this dog, and I went up to her, and her dog looked like a tiger. I'm like, damn, girl, that dog looks like a tiger. And she's like, this was a 50-year-old lady with a boxer with beautiful orange hair and like black stripes. And I go, damn. She gets out of her Mercedes-Benz. She doesn't have a wedding ring on, so she probably wants me to come talk to her. So I go over to her, and I'm like, damn, girl, that looks like you got a tiger. And she's like, oh, yeah. She likes to go everywhere with me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame her. And she very gingerly giggled, and she liked what she heard. And then I went in the coffee place with her, and I stroked her dog. And she told me she's 3 years old, and I told her I have a blind Jack Russell. And she's like, oh, we should take our dogs to the park. And I'm like, Then I was kind of boxed in. I didn't anticipate it going to that level. And I was like, yeah, we should. I'll see you at the coffee store next time. But she was pretty hot.
You haven't seen her since?
I haven't seen her since, and if I see her again, then that's what we'll do. We'll go over to the dog park together with our dogs. My blind dog Braveheart and Lola, her dog, and they can sniff each other's butts.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And you guys can sniff each other's butts.
Yeah. So, what's up? Sorry about that. Me and Johnny were rudely interrupted by a couple of coworkers who decided what they wanted to talk about was more important than what we were doing. And so they came in the door, and they slowed down our goddamn momentum. So we took about a 10-minute break. You don't know because we just edited it out because we're fucking geniuses. But we decided a new topic because we lost our momentum, man. And momentum is everything in life. So I was reminded, John's like, just think of something to talk about. And I was reminded of yesterday I went to the gym. I went to my 24-hour Pacifica, and I was running on the treadmill. And this guy, this 75-year-old nice old guy gets up, and we're talking. We talk about baseball all the time, and he was telling me how excited he was about the debates. And I was like, man, I watched 15 Republican debates. I don't know how many more I can watch. And he's like, I just want Romney to come out and tear Obama up. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, talk about how if we would build more oil pipelines and if we would do more drilling for gas, that we'd have more energy and millions of jobs. And I was like, I understand what you're saying, and we need jobs, but we do have to think about the cost to the environment if we do all this drilling and if we do all this drilling and fragging, which is to put chemicals into the earth to push out natural gas, which we use for energy. And we need energy. We have billions of people on Earth. And I said, we just have to be careful of the environmental effects. And he's like, oh, I'm not one of those people who hates corporations, because that's a Republican talking point. And I was like, I don't hate corporations. Corporations employ people. I don't hate them. I mean, some people like to vilify them, but the only problem to me with corporations is if all they care about is making money at the expense of everything else, and they're not concerned about anything else, then you're going to have negative effects. It's just, if you shortcut things and if you do things the wrong way with your only goal is making money, then you're going to have problems. It's just the way it is. And he's like, oh, I guess, man. He's like, I don't know. I don't like Obama. He's Kenyan. And I'm like, oh, Christ almighty. He's not Kenyan. He's a dude whose mom was a poor lady from Kansas, and his dad was an African dude, and he's a love child. That's all he is. He's just, you don't like him because he's on the wrong team. And the guy's like, no, I don't like him because he hates business. And I'm like, all right, well, this conversation ain't going anywhere. And so I was like, so you love baseball? He's like, I got drafted by the Cleveland Indians in 1960. I'm like, really? And you want to fold that in 5 minutes, Johnny? He's folding a sandwich. It's going to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so he told me he was drafted by the Cleveland Indians. I'm like, yeah. And baseball was desegregated at that point. He's like, yeah, we could play with blacks. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I actually had sex with a shitload of black bitches back then. I couldn't believe he said that. So this 70-year-old guy told me he used to get a lot of blacktail.
It came out of left field.
It came out of left field. Nice, Johnny. He was a pitcher, though. He was a pitcher. He never got above, AA or whatever it was called back then. But it was a funny story. No, his arm probably fell off. Like most pitchers get injured when they're young. I don't know. I don't want to talk about baseball after what happened to me yesterday. The Rangers were in first the entire season, and they blew it. And now the Oakland A's won the division, and all these fans are coming out of nowhere. But where were these fans all year? Where were these fans all year? Have you heard anything about them all year?
What, the A's fans?
Yeah.
I don't know. We live in the area, so they're around.
We live in the area, but everyone out here loves the Giants. The Giants bandwagon is the cool wagon to be on because, there's a guy with the beard, and there's a guy who smokes weed with long hair, and there's a fat, lovable third baseman named the Panda. Even though, he's morbidly obese. He's 250 pounds and 5'9". He's going to die. One of these days he's going to hit a home run and just die.
Yeah.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Panda. Look up Pablo Sandoval if you're listening to this, to the two people who are probably going to be listening to this, right? Look up Pablo Sandoval, San Francisco Giants. He's this tubby little, I don't want to use the word little because he's nothing if not huge.
Well, we just destroyed our local fan base.
Well, no. I mean, the Giants are awesome. They're really good. They're really good. I'm just making fun of, their marketing team is geniuses.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Oh, yeah, in the Bay Area where they live. Makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. But, a lot of people outside of the Bay Area have heard of Fear the Beard and Brian Wilson and Tim Lincecum and Pablo Sandoval, the Panda. Everybody knows about it. Honestly, my mom, if I tell her the Beard guy, she'll know who that is, and she lives in Dallas, TX, and she's very proud of me. So, anyhow, I actually called her up. I'm like, I can't figure out all these insurance documents. Did you figure out how to sign up for your health care and shit?
I stopped there. I just...
You got to do that, dude. You want me to show you which one to do?
It says I have until the end of October.
Really? Oh,
yeah. You had to sign up for the tax forms. And this is great footage. You had to sign up for the tax forms and shit and all of that stuff. Fucking insurance you don't have to do yet.
Dude, I can show you which ones to do. A PPO means you get to pick your own doctor. And an HMO means you don't, basically. And PPO's better. It might cost a little more, though. Hey, everyone needs this information.
Yeah, maybe we should just end it now because we're talking about healthcare, talking with your 50-year-old friends.
Oh, man, she was good. He was 70, unless you mean the lady at the coffee store. She was 50.
Oh, and that lady's your future wife.
I wish. All right, me and Johnny, this is our first one. We're going to put this up there and see what happens. It was only 30 minutes long, though, so I'll listen to it later. All right, Johnny, do you have a sign-off?
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight. That's his sign-off. Keep it tight, ladies. Peace out.